remember this? This is the H OLL or OLL in my case, where you go like this. R2, U2, R prime or R. I usually do R prime, but if you want to do R, you go like this. U2, R2. I learned it in this video, well not that video exactly, but in that video I show you how I learned it. And RBM cubing is back and he's shown me another way to do it.
Okay, so the next style is the style I use since I can't really do the first style. And basically what you want to do, instead of doing the R2 prime in this grip, you want to do an R2 in this grip. So you do the R2. And basically you're going to do a whole U4. But while you're doing the U4, so you do the U, you do another U, and then you have 2 more U's to go. But while you're in the middle of the 2 more U's, you do the R prime with your ring finger, and you just keep on doing the U, U, R2. So R2, U prime, R prime, U prime, U prime, R2, R2. I'll do that a bit slower. And I'll just do it a bit quicker.
So in case you didn't catch that, that was basically the exact same. R2, so it's basically R2, U2, or R prime, but then instead of going back, he goes around like that. U2, R2. Like this. Now this video, I'm gonna explain why I think this is not as good as this. So why does RBM think this way is better? Well, he says it like this. Since you're doing essentially doing R2 and then doing what some things up here and then coming back, then it's really a matter of putting your fingers here and then just doing a U. Well, in my case, it's a R2 and then it's U2 and U2 back. Well, for him, it's U2 but go around U2 like that. Like that. So, why do I think this way is better? Just going back. Well, here's why RBM thinks that it's better. It's because it's faster. And I kind of agree with that. Basically, if you have this like... So, I'm just going to draw an imaginary line right here. This is the start. Sorry. This is the start, this is the end, and this is like the R and R prime part. So, if you're doing R2, U2, and you get to R prime, then it's faster to go in the same direction than to just turn around and go back. So basically what he's saying is R2, U2, it's faster to go, so R prime, it's faster to go the exact same direction rather than just come back. That's his logic. I mean, that kind of makes sense, because if you're running from either here to here to here, or here all the way to here, it would be faster to go from here to here because you have all the momentum. But here's where I think it's wrong. Well, okay, I do think it's faster to do R2, U4, R2, rather than do R2, U2, then come back. I do think it's faster to go this than this. But you gotta remember, in between the two U2s, there's an R or R prime. And that's why I think my, or Cupiton's version is better. Because when you do R2, U2, then you can kind of pause and kind of just time the R prime right. But the thing is, if you do it RBM's way, if you do R2, U2, then you kind of have the momentum to go this way, and that can make it very easy to miss this R prime move. So basically, like, sometimes when I try to do this, I would actually overshoot and try to go here, but obviously that's not possible. I mean, I can do sometimes, but most of the time, I kind of just, I don't know, maybe I'm not accurate, but I think it's just not as good as just coming back. And another reason why I think this is good is that your hand moves a lot during this. Unless you use like this as like a D move, D4, then you can kind of get it to work, but generally with the R2, U2, your right hand doesn't move as much. As you can see, my right hand is moving quite a lot. So while I truly believe that this this version is faster, it's a lot more riskier, and that's why I don't really like it. So I'm not saying it's not fast, it's just a lot more risky, which is why I just prefer to come back like this. Now there's this element of risk versus speed. So basically, there's this bit in the JPerm algorithm in which you can go, you can basically like do these anyway, but then the last few moves, actually this is not good algorithm, T-perm, when you get to this moment, U prime, R prime, U prime, you can either do it like this, which uses both this finger twice, or you can do second and then middle. Now the thing is, doing it with the two fingers is just it's a lot easier. I mean, not easier, but it's a lot more faster. But obviously, it's a lot more riskier because the time you have after this, it's very easy to get wrong. But the reason why I do some finger tricks on here, like JPerm, I can do the U prime, R prime, U prime like this. The reason I do that on 3x3 and not do the risky things on 2x2 is because 2x2 is such a shorter event than 3x3, and if you make one mistake, then your entire solve is a bust. But in 3x3, depending on how fast you are, one tiny mistake like maybe this is usually not that bad. So that's why I tend to choose to go with the more riskier, well, some of them. Recently, I learned to do F-perm like that, which is a lot more risky. Obviously, if it was 2x2, I'd never do that because it's so short. One lockup really just destroys the whole solve. But for 3x3, I don't find it as bad because last layer TPS is really what you gotta go for. Moral of the story, pick whatever finger tricks you like. Like, I know some people might... Oh my god, I just got a corner twist. I know some people might prefer the other way, and that's totally fine. Opinions are opinions after all. And I totally wouldn't blame you if you like doing this version. I just believe this version is better. Well, for me anyway. Everyone has different like hands and whatever. And also for the 3x3, you don't have to agree with me on this. So choose whatever, I don't really care. Alright, see you next time.